So today we're doing a little work on the engine because I have been chewing up belts. This is not your standard width. In fact, it's lost a couple ribs. And it's been tracking funny on the air conditioning pulley, but it's solid. There's no play at all. And there isn't any play in the pump, which is right next to it. So I'm looking around. I think, well, the power steering's been leaking. Maybe power steering. I feel you can hear that little bit of in play on that. So it could have been that. And then I come over, I go, well, let's just take a look at the alternator. Down underneath there is the alternator. And this fucking thing is just floating. Holy crap. I'm surprised I didn't lose the whole fucking alternator. Problem is, trying to figure out what is the bolt that holds it. I see that little boss down there. I don't know if you can see it right above. You can see that bolt head on the thermostat housing there. Just past it, there's a boss. It looks like it ought to have a bolt running into the engine block. But you come around to the front side of the alternator and I find no place to run a bolt. So today we're going to be pulling the alternator, which means disconnecting both batteries and probably pulling the top hose and anything else that gets in the way, and we'll take a look at it. So after pulling everything apart, you can see I had two broken off studs right there, and if you look at the room that I have to get at it, it's pretty damn tight. So what I've decided to do, I tried drilling them out by hand, but with the angle drill, but there isn't a whole lot of room, and we'll see if this works. I think I got a good plan. I took a nut the proper size, and initially I was going to center drill a bolt. I also found one of these tensioner nuts that they have, the long nuts, and it fit almost perfectly inside that nut. And now when I put that right up against the face of the remaining bolt hole, oh, you're probably not going to be able to see this anyhow, it centers perfectly in the hole, and I will have a drill guide directly to the center of that bolt so I can start extraction. So we're going to take and JB weld or epoxy this to the face of that head, let that dry, and I will use that as my drill guide. We'll see how that works out. I did finally get both those bolts out of there. This one, not as clean as I wanted it to be, but this one was perfect, easy extraction, got it out. The way I did the top one, give you an idea, the standard size drill for a 3/8 tap is 5/16. And you see this is a fairly long galley here. And what I did is I ran a 5/16 drill all the way through, and ended up getting the bolt, had drilled the bolt out basically, and then I ran a tap through it, through the other portion that's in the head, in order to clean up the threads. And you know, they're not beautiful, but I'm going to start jerry rig it. We're going to put a little JB in there and hope the JB holds it once the bolts tighten down. It's only the first threads that are really buggered up, but after that it gets nice and tight. So as long as I don't have any wobble and the other two bolts are grade 8s and holding it, it should be just fine. Let's button her up. Here we go, round 3. I just did not have enough thread to get a good pull, and as soon as I started tarking it down, it ended up pulling out. So let's go to the proper fix, which I should have done in the first place. We're going to throw in a helicoil and get this baby wrapped up. Success, helicoil is in there, and we are ready to rock and roll. So the one thing I was missing is I have these 2 spacers. One of them I found in the undercarriage. I guess after the bolt snapped, one of them, obviously the bolt worked backwards and one of them dropped down into the undercarriage, and the other one fell onto the ground or just disappeared. So I had to get another spacer. That's not really something you can just go down to the store and grab, so I picked up a 1-inch bolt, center drilled it, and then cut it off clean, ground it till it was perfectly level, and voila, another spacer the exact same size as the others. Now I just got to put this beast back together. Wish me luck. So I got the bracket all bolted up and in there, and then ran into problem 978, which is the fan shroud is right in the way of putting the alternator pivot bolt in. Why they ever did this, I don't know, but it was quickly remedied. A little bit of die grinder work. I put a hole in the fan shroud, which I'm sure probably voids the warranty of this 1992 product. And now you can get bolt in and out while the bracket is bolted in. I don't know why they didn't do that at the factory.